Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today I will be reviewing The Scum Villain's Self-Saving System, Volume 4 by Mo Xiang Tong Shou. This is a fantasy novel. The description says, this collection of 11 short stories picks up days after Scum Villain's finale and follows the cast's relationship and adventures through their pasts and futures. The first trial? A glimpse into another world where Luo Binghe was never saved by his beloved teacher, unless he can claim this world's Shen Chengqiu for himself. Other tales recount the riotous history of Shang Qinghua and Mo Beijun, the bittersweet romance of Luo Binghe's parents, and the untold tragedy of the original Scum Villain himself. 1 star. Thank goodness it's finally over. I am never reading these books again. Next time I go to book club, I'm going to see if I can offload them to a friend. I don't want to own them anymore. So, this book is entirely fluff. And by fluff, I mean extra little stories that aren't important to the story and can be entirely left out. Not that they're soft and huggable, because they really aren't. A lot of this book involves Luo Binghe and Shen Qingqiu having sex, which is kind of disappointing when you don't like them as a couple. It's also very irritating if you, say, loved another of the author's works and that couple never had sex, period. But I digress. The point is, I was never going to enjoy these sex scenes. But they also happen to be the worst sex scenes I've ever read. Shen Qingqiu has always believed himself to be straight, and while he's accepted his relationship with Luo Binghe, he still doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic about it. Also, Luo Binghe is too damn big. The result is that in every sex scene, for every word about how that actually feels maybe a little bit good, actually, there are 20 words about how excruciatingly painful it is and how embarrassed Shen Qingqiu feels about how he must look while getting fucked. I wish I could scrub the chapter titled Regret of Chunshan and Song of Bingqiu from my brain entirely. Incidentally, this chapter also requires a content warning for rape. It's not real in-world rape, it's fanfiction, but sensitive readers may want to skip that chapter. Any readers may want to skip it, honestly. There are, however, 3 sets of stories that are not about Shen Qingqiu and Luo Binghe. And while I can't say I enjoyed the first one, I can say that they were quite good. I wish there had been more of that instead. For anyone hoping to avoid the awful sex but still curious, the chapters I'm talking about are Ye Qingyuan and Shen Qingqiu, Bamboo Branch Poem, and Airplane's Fortuitous Encounter. Okay, that's it for no spoilers. If you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. I liked Ye Qingyuan and Shen Qingqiu, which details the relationship between original Shen Qingqiu and Ye Qingyuan, but it sure did hurt. Also made me hate the original flavor Luo Binghe more, which, if you watched the spoilers on my last video, you might know is rather impressive. If I cared to spend any time thinking about these books, I'd never forgive him for murdering Ye Qingyuan. The man didn't do anything wrong, he just tried to protect his Shidi. It seems a little unfair for Luo Binghe to punish him for it, considering that's more or less what he wanted from Shen Qingqiu. Pisses me off. I did mostly like the Airplane's Fortuitous Encounter chapter, though. It's mostly about Airplane and Mo Beijun, which is a pairing I much prefer. I thought it was hilarious when Luo Binghe was asking how to get a guy to like you. Airplane says you have to act pathetic, and then completely misses the fact that that's exactly how he always acts with Mo Beijun. I do wish the two of them were a little nicer to each other, but it sounded like Mo Beijun more or less stopped being abusive once he started to like Airplane, so it's not terrible. That chapter did raise some serious questions for me, though. At the end of it, Airplane is thinking through a new story that he knows won't be especially well written. He says, he could throw out 1,000 it's justs to smooth things over. For example, it's just reading a novel. It's like living your life. Just have a good time. Why take it so seriously? It's just a silly novel the author wrote for fun. Don't set your expectations too high, everyone, and please bear with me. It's just a brainless, satisfying read. Wake up. What did you expect to read? It's just... It was just that he really, very much liked the story he'd written. At which point I thought, that's an ending. That's the author literally speaking through the character to say she likes her book. You can't get a more final note than that. But it's not the end, which seemed weird. The table of contents tells you which chapters of the web novel correspond to the chapters of the book, so on a hunch, I checked. I'm a little uncertain, because 4 of the chapters don't say where they came from, but the last section of Airplane's Fortuitous Encounter is indeed the highest number corresponding to the web serialization. It was the end. So why did the publisher put it in the middle? I'd seriously like to know if this was something they discussed with the author and she wanted to rearrange it this way, or if they just moved things around according to their own sensibilities, since several of these bonus chapters don't need to be in any order, and some of them, like the 2 I like, seem to have been published in fits and starts. If I liked this series, I'd also be interested to see how the original order changes the flow of the book. So yeah, I didn't like this book/series at all. But the author apparently did, and I'm glad for her. That's all any of us can control when it comes to writing. Might as well make the most of it. If you liked this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!